Hello, everyone. Diana Rankin here with your monthly predictions for the month of October by Phillip. And we will also, of course, get a soul message from Phillip later in a few minutes. This will get the message from one of my books. This is the Master's Book of Answers by Phillip. And as many of you know, each page is a different message, and we just open up and get our messages. But we're going to get the predictions first. This is for October, which is the 10th month of 2020. And as you've heard me say before, I want to first of all apologize. I'm getting this out late. September hasn't been my easiest month, as I'm sure that's true for many of you as well. And I just want to say thank you for hanging in there with me. And you've heard me say also that making these monthly predictions, I'd much rather do the weekly videos where you ask the question and I just get the answer from Phillip, or I would rather stand in front of an audience of 1,000 and talk to you about life and how to make it better. I'd rather work with you one-on-one to tell you how the energy in your life is going this way, and this is what will happen. Or if it goes this way, this is what will happen. But you've asked me to do these predictions, and I hope they give us hope, because right now we're in some tough times, and so I do them because you keep encouraging me and thank me for doing them. You know, I grew up. I'm a writer, and I'm a coach, and I'm a teacher, and those are my loves. And I grew up, the word psychic was not even in my vocabulary, because, those were people that we didn't associate with. So the word psychic was hard for me to come to terms with. I use it because it has meaning. Hi, Sunshine. Thank you. Sunshine wrote, thanks for all you do. Again, you guys keep me going and doing this. And a long time ago, I was teaching one of my classes on awakening to your deeper intuition. And when I was preparing the notes for that weekend, I thought about what is psychic. And I said, well, we start with instinct. And most people in the world have a good instinct, or have instinct. And I do work with, it's a little hard with the COVID, but I work with groups, medical people and educators, et cetera, to develop and use their instinct for safety and for service. But then I thought about, okay, what's the next stage? And I said, the next stage of instinct is intuition, which most of us can develop that and should. And I said, okay, what comes after intuition? And I said, well, that's psychic abilities. So I said, all right, our soul's journey is not always easy, but if we dedicate our lives to saying, I am going to live from my spiritual life and help the world, that doesn't necessarily create an easy path, but it creates the path of what we're here to do. So I use the term psychic because that's the term that should be used. And then the next stage is the mystic. And I always say, in our world, we need the grace of the mystic and the grit of the shaman, the power of the shaman. So we need grace and grit. And if we're going to live our spiritual selves, and as Pierre Desjardins tells us, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And Phillip absolutely will talk about that a little bit. So here's what he says. This is what I wrote this morning when I sat down and I said, Phillip, what are your predictions for October of this year? And of course, being a U.S. citizen, it really gets into the U.S. A lot, because that's also what advances the world, or what affects the world. And I just real quickly, I want to say, if on our weekly videos, which just go to my channel and the link is below, but on the weekly videos, we answer your questions, your universal questions. So we're keeping the monthly as the predictions and the weekly for talking about those questions. So here we go. These are the predictions for October of 2020. Phillip answers by saying, what seems upmost in the minds of many is the upcoming election in the U.S. This election affects the world, not just the U.S. Most importantly, everyone, and this is really important, please hear this. Most importantly, everyone who understands and is able to hold the planet in divine light, capital L, capital D, and capital L, divine light, must do so immediately. We stress the importance of this to avoid a war between Iraq and the U.S. This would be a most unguided war created for political purposes. Only the people can avert the war by leaving behind their fear and anger and surrendering the planet in love. And surrounding their planet in love while immersing their lives in the same. The U.S. will see major defaults in its system as the election approaches. The ancient ones tell us that this period of time is when secrets will be revealed. This has been taking place and will continue to take place over this month and the coming months. We know many feel they have spent their lives devoted to creating equality among peoples and are now seeing what they worked so hard for erode away. We remind you that this is linear thinking. Life is circular. It comes back on itself. Look upward, look downward, as well as left and right. And I want to say that's pretty much an American thing. We see life as linear. Many other cultures see it as circular. As the circle comes back on itself, old patterns are repeated. The old adage, two steps forward, is quite true. Often it may seem like life is one step forward and 3 steps backward, but this is not the case except under dire circumstances. The planet is not yet ready to rid itself of humanity, so those circumstances do not yet exist. However, we certainly do not want to say life is ideal in the world, so let us tell you what to expect in this month of October. Many will grow weary of the election battle and turn away. We suggest you keep informed and help others stay informed without getting into the fray of it. It is also necessary to pay attention to self-care. The energy in the world is explosive. The pandemic has neutered it somewhat by helping people stay apart. This will continue and escalate in October. Fires will continue to rage and waters will continue to rise. Many will feel a shift of the planet's axis. This is a normal progression. This is a normal progression for the planet, but may cause minor discomfort to some humans in the way of feeling off balance or dizziness off and on for a few days. Expect explosive reports to come out about the U.S. presidential candidates. There will be lulls here and there as people turn away, yet it will be a month of secrets revealed, so the energy will be erratic and difficult to deal with at times. There are uprisings in Asia that must be watched as well as those in the U.S. This will not be a quiet month. Remember, we got to stay in that divine light. Another island will disappear beneath the South Seas. At this time, it is not inhabited by humans, so no lives will be lost. The 4-legged ones have also left, and the birds and fish will do so soon. As we have said before, the current president of the U.S. will remain in office, but will not win the election. As of now, this energy remains the same. This will change only if the people change. The anger and fear must be cleansed and purified. This is hard to do, but faith of change must be given to the people that they have the power. We remind each human that you are first a spiritual being and you have chosen to experience human life. Your power to create change in your life and in the world rests with you remembering this. As you connect with your spirit self, you connect with the greatest power of all. You connect with love with a capital L. This is truly the only power that exists. We use it mightily. I'm going to repeat those last couple of paragraphs because I really think Phillip leaves us always with that hope. And he says, the anger and the fear must be cleansed and purified. And this is hard to do, but faith of change must be given to the people, that they have the power. We remind each human that you are first a spiritual being and you have chosen to experience human life. Your power to create change in your life and in the world rests with you remembering this. As you connect with your spirit self, you connect with the greatest power of all. You connect with love. This is truly the only power that exists. Use it mightily. I love that. Love is the only power that truly exists. Use it mightily. I can always tell it's Phillip speaking because he uses words that I wouldn't use, and the phrasing is different, the syntax is different, and others who work with me, Phillip may come to them and will say the same thing. They say, I wouldn't have said it like that, or wouldn't have even thought of that. So some of you may end up working with Phillip, who knows? Okay, I just want to say welcome to those of you who have come in. And I do have a video on a meditation to help find a lost pet. That's not what I address on this particular video. So we are on this particular video, we are looking at predictions for the month. My weekly videos answers your questions, and I do ask you to let them be universal questions of interest to all rather than personal questions. If you want personal questions, please contact me personally. Trump won't win. Biden is next. Please help me. I would have to go back and repeat what Phillip said. So I will let you just go back and take a look at the video. And we did also address that last month. It does not look like right now. And again, I'm not going to say it nearly as eloquently as Phillip did, but the election is really, it looks like Trump is going to take it, but that's not necessarily what the results will be. It is my interpretation. So let's get our message here. And I just also want to tell you, you might want to pick up I have 4 books still in print. These are 2 of them. And this one, Joy, is 52 practices that you can use one each week to help you find joy in your life. And this will be helpful. So let us flip through. And as we flip through, we just open to a page, and I am hearing right. So if you heard right, that means we're on the same page. If you heard left, that means that is a very specific message for you. So you can't do this wrong, right? So here's our first message, and it always astounds me. I find it so awesome how the messages from here fit our message from the either the week or the month. And here's the message. Love looks past fear. Love looks past fear. And remember what Phillip said. Love is more powerful than fear. And we have that power. Let's use it mightily. Now, if you heard the left side, it's logic may not have a vision. Logic may not have a vision. So if you're left brain dominant, or you think this is the logical answer, there's no vision in that. So learn the vision. What is your vision? And go from there. But remember, love looks past fear. I thank you all for coming for encouraging me to continue to do these predictions, because like I say, these are not easy. The monthly or the weekly videos are much, much easier. And I don't want to use, I thank you all for being here and for coming, but I really don't want to use everyone's time up to answer your personal questions. For those, please make an appointment. I will be happy to work with you individually. You can find how to do that on my website. The link to that is below. So can we manifest beyond rules? Rules are man-made. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. That answers it. Of course we can. But we have to live in the energy. We don't manifest without living in the energy. So my friends, let's all live in the energy of love. Live in the energy of love. Divine love, not romantic love. We're talking divine love, which is the truth of who we are. I thank you for coming. I thank you for being here. And I thank you for being love, loving me, loving yourselves, loving each other. And yes, of course, there's a link between our pets and us. Go listen to that meditation. Go to my channel and look for the meditation for lost pets. You'll find that link. I love you, my friends. Thank you for being here. And thank you for all of you who commented. I'll see you in the weekly messages. And you are making these monthly messages easier. So thank you. Until we meet again. Until next week, I love you. Thank you for receiving that love and loving me.